Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home full body, full length Pilates class. Today we're going to be sculpting our entire bodies without using any equipment at all. We're going to work our arms, abs, glutes, and thighs, and we're going to feel fantastic afterwards. This workout does include a warm-up and a cool-down, so with that in mind, let's jump right into it. We're going to start down on the mat in an all-fours position. And from here, we're going to plant the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Walk to the top of your mat so you have space behind you to stretch your legs out. We're going to arch the spine, rolling the shoulders down away from the ears. And then we're going to round through the spine, ripple back, and sit onto the heels. Now we're going to bend at the elbows. We're going to come forward, start arching the spine, looking up, and then round through the spine, scooping belly in and sitting back on those heels. Inhale, come forward, creeping down the mat, arching the spine, and then round back, separating the vertebra, stretching and lengthening toward those heels. Work through a few more of these, really enjoying the stretching of the spine, the mobilizing of the shoulders, and the breath work. Good. I'm going to take one more. And then sink back onto those heels. Nice work. Come forward into a neutral position. Curl your toes. From here, we're going to lift the hips up really nice and high. Scoop belly in. If you need to, you can have your knees bent here. We want to flatten out the upper back, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now from here, we're going to lift the right leg up and then lower it down. Lift right leg up, stretch and lengthen, and tap toes down to the mat. Lift and tap. Two more, lift and tap. Nice work. And lower down, stretch and lengthen, lower knees to the floor, take them nice and wide, and push back into child's pose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're going to do the same thing using the left leg. So I'd like you to come forward, curl the toes, lift those hips, hang out here for a moment. Get your upper back nice and flat, scoop belly in, and then lift that left leg up and tap it down. Lift it up and tap toes down. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Good work. Two more. Stretch and lengthen. And last one. And lower. Take knees down to the mat, take them nice and wide, and push back for your child's pose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, really lengthening out through that tailbone. Amazing work. Use your hands to help you to come into a kneeling position on your mat. If this feels uncomfortable, you can stand up with your feet hip distance apart. I'm just going to turn to the side slightly, and we're going to go into some arm circles. So we're going to lift the arms, circle them down and around. Inhale to lift, exhale, circle them down and back. I want you to sit up really nice and tall here, lengthen through the spine. Chin is parallel with the floor. Inhale as the arms come up, exhale as they sweep down and back. Really stretch and open through the chest here. Good, energizing the body with every circle. Mobilizing those shoulders, stretching the upper back. Feels really good. Let's do two. And last one, reach and stretch. Now we're going to reach both arms up, inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to twist to the right, bringing the right fingertips down to the mat, looking out over right shoulder, and then lift, twist. If you're standing, you can just have your arm out behind you. Good. Try to get as much of a rotation around the spine, stretching the neck, stretching the thoracic spine while keeping your hips facing forward. Amazing. It's incredible how stretching the spine, mobilizing the spine before a workout, not only helps prevent injury, but also feels really good and helps energize you and get you ready for the workout ahead. Good. And up and lower the arms down. Nice work. Now we're going to come into an all fours position. We're going to just warm up the lower body. So we're going to do 5 hip circles on the right. 1, 2, 3. Circle that knee up and around. 4 and 5. Hold the leg out long. Tap the toes down to the mat and lift. Tap and lift. And as you do so, I want you to find length in the leg. Square the hips with the mat and squeeze the bum as you lift and lower. Good work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Bring the knee under the hip and we'll do our 5 hip circles on the left side. Slow it down. 3, really exaggerate the movement for 4 and 5. Lower leg down, stretch it out long. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. Good work. Squeeze the bum, lengthen through the leg. Nice broad shoulders here as we just gently warm up those legs, those hamstrings and glutes. Good. For 2 and for 1. Nicely done. Lower knee down to the mat. Curl your toes. Walk your hands out ahead of you slightly. Spread fingers. Pressing palms down onto the mat. Scoop belly in and lift back up into your downward dog. Stretch and lengthen through the upper back. Gaze is on the shins here. We're going to pedal out the feet, stretching the backs of the legs as we lower alternating heels down to the mat. Lift those hips a little higher. Stretch and lengthen through those shoulders. Good. Feels really good to get the blood circulating and to mobilize some of those stiffer areas, gently activating the muscles as we stretch and lengthen for 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, I'd like you to level out your heels. Take a nice deep inhale in through the nose, and as you exhale, I want you to come forward into a high plank. So we're going to hold in this high plank, powering up through the shoulders. The wrists should be directly below the shoulders here, creating a nice flat line with the body. We're going to hold here for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Gently bend at the elbows and lower down to the mat. Nicely done. Now we're going to get into some upper body work here. So I'd like you to take your legs about hip distance apart, and we're going to stretch the arms out long. From here, we're going to inhale, gaze is down on the mat, and as we exhale, we're going to lift the arms up and lower them down. Lift up, inhale to lower. Lift up, breathe out, plug belly in, and lower down. Now, if this feels like too much, you can take your hands on either side of your shoulders, like so, and hover your palms up off the mat, and then lower. Whichever position you're in, I want you to really focus on creating as much length as possible through the spine as you lift and lower. Notice I'm not lifting my head up like this. That will really strain the neck, so keep that gaze down on the floor. Good. We've got 5, 4, 3, 3, working into those shoulders for 2, upper back is working as well, and 1. Bring your arms down on either side of your shoulders if they aren't there already. From here, we're gonna lift, stretch, bring the arms in and lower. Lift, hover, stretch, pull back and lower. Good. Lift, lengthen through those fingertips. Keep the chest hovering and lower. Lift, extend, pull the elbows back and lower. Now as you pull those elbows back, I want you to focus on contracting your upper back muscles, knitting those shoulder blades together. Nicely done. Lift, stretch, pull back and lower. Now you don't want to feel strain in your lower back, and if you are, maybe it's that you're lifting up a little bit too high for your level of strength at this time. So we're focusing on length in the spine. So even if you're just hovering an inch or so off the mat, focus on length over height with your lift and really engaging those upper back muscles throughout the range of movement. Good work. Last one. Lift, extend, pull back, and lower. Good work. Now making sure you've got room on either side, we're going to stretch the arms out long. Inhale and exhale. Right arm comes back, reach, looking out over right shoulder and back down. Left arm, reach and back down. Come up, breathe out to reach and lower down with control, keeping those arms nice and long, working into those shoulders and upper back muscles. Again, really contracting your upper back as you reach from side to side. Keep your lower body stationary. You don't want to be twisting in the lower body. Keep this work isolated in the upper body. Good. Reach and lower. Reach, pull back and lower. Last one and lower. Amazing work. Now from here, we're going to pull the arms back to the sides and we're going to face the thumbs down toward the floor, little fingers up toward the ceiling. From this position, we're going to hover, lift the hands as high as you can, and imagine that you're holding a little exercise ball above your bum. From here, we're going to start pulsing that ball, squeezing those upper back muscles together. Gaze is down on the mat. Pulse that little ball with a lot of energy. Pulse, 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 pulse. Lift those arms a bit higher if you can. Squeeze and contract the upper arms and the upper back muscles. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring hands by your side. Inhale and exhale to peel up. Just for a moment, you can come up onto your forearms or all the way up onto your palms. Lower down, we're gonna do the same thing again. Sweep those arms back, lift, hold on to your imaginary little ball, hovering the chest and pulse it. Little controlled pulses, squeezing that ball with energy. Nice strong upper arms, working those triceps as well as the upper back muscles. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring hands down. Come up into a cobra or all the way up onto those hands. Last set, lowering with control. Sweeping arms back, lifting that imaginary ball above your bum. Curl your fingers around it. Lift your chest and pulse. Squeeze those upper arms. Lift a bit higher through your chest. This is the final set of these, so make it count. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower hands. Lift yourself up. Take your knees nice and wide and push back into child's pose, stretching out those shoulders. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice work. Now from here, elevate up. And we're gonna get into a little bit more upper body work, but we're gonna start with some tricep push-ups. So I just want to roll my shoulders down away from my ears, really making sure that we're not going into this with tension in the neck and the shoulders. I'm keeping my knees wide and my big toes together. We're going to come down on the mat, walking the hands out a little bit in front of the shoulders. Now we're going to hover, lower the chest between the hands, put weight into the heels of the hands, push up through the heels of the hands, elbow crack, and sink back. Make any little adjustments you need to with your hand position. So we want to lower our chest between our hands and then push back into the child's pose. So we're coming forward and pushing back. Coming forward, lowering chest between the hands and pushing up through the heels of the hands. Now, one thing I should mention is we want to be keeping our elbows in close toward the side of the body so that we're really targeting the backs of the arms. So try not to let your elbows splay out to the sides. Good. Lower, as low as you can to the mat. That might be a little bit more shallow than mine if you're still building up strength in those triceps, and that's perfectly fine. You can adjust for your level. So you could do a lower or a more shallow push-up like so and push up through the heels of the hands, or you could hover your chest just right above the mat for a harder variation and then push up and away. You've got this. Inhale back. Exhale forward. A fantastic way to work those triceps. Ooh, okay, last one. Lower, we're gonna just hover and hold. Elbows are bent, hold for 5, for 4, nice long neck, 3, 2, and 1. Lift up and send hips back to heels. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Nice work. Now we're going to switch gears and move into some ab work. So I'd like you to come down on the mat. We're going to lower down one vertebra at a time, using your hands to help you. Bringing yourself down into a nice comfortable position. We're going to take the hands behind the head here. So interlace your fingers, head rests heavy in your hands, elbows are nice and wide. From here, we're going to bring alternating knees in toward the chest to start warming up the abdominal wall. So our spine is in neutral to begin with. We're going to inhale here, exhale, bring one knee in toward the chest, lower, and then exhale, bring opposite leg in toward the chest. Inhale to lower the foot to the mat. Exhale to lift. Good. Now I want you to really challenge yourself by getting into your Pilates breath here. As you breathe out to lift up, I want you to flatten your lower back down onto the mat and contract your abdominal wall down toward your spine, down toward the mat. Keep those elbows nice and wide. Remember, we're not pulling our head up here. We're using our abs to get that lift. Good. Lowering one vertebra at a time. Excellent. Now, as you start to kind of get more comfortable with this movement, I want you to challenge yourself further by really picking those shoulder blades up off the mat, driving the knee in toward the chest, bringing the forehead toward the knee. Good. We've got 5 and 4, warming up that abdominal wall. Keep it up. 2 and 1. Good. Now from here, I'm going to extend my right leg out long. We're going to lift right leg and lower. Lift as we crunch up and lower. If it's too much for you to have your leg straight, I want you to come up like so with a bent knee. Otherwise, you've got that right leg straight. You're pointing and lengthening through the toes as you work into these crunches. Now have a look at that left knee. It should be really stable. You don't want that leg or that left side swaying from side to side. Good. Keep it slow and controlled. Pull down into that core. Contract the belly to spine as you lift. Good work. We've got 2. And last 1. And relax it down. Now we're extending the left leg, either keeping it bent or full extension as we inhale to prepare and exhale to lift. Good, really pointing and lengthening through those toes. Again, keeping the elbows nice and wide here. Spine goes into neutral as you lower, so there'll be a little bit of space between your low back and the mat. And as you lift, your lower back should be pressing down into the floor. Good. Nicely done. Keep it up. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Amazing. Now we're going to go into some knee taps with our elbows. So 2 options here. You can either, I'm just going to squeeze my legs together and lift my heels up off the mat. You can either go into this variation where you tap elbows and knees and then lower toes to the floor. Or you can go into the harder variation where you tap elbows and knees and then extend the legs out. So whichever works best for you. It's gonna challenge the abs no matter what. So don't push it. So if it's too much with the extension, just focus on that core engagement and that breath work as you bring your knees in. Good work. Pulling belly to spine as you tap elbows and knees. Nicely done. This gets deep into the center core. Really great exercise. Super effective for building strength, tone, and definition. Good. We've got 3 and 2. And final 1. Nice work. Lower head, neck, and shoulders down to the mat. Just sway your legs from side to side for a moment. Regulating the breath. Just relaxing those abdominals. For 3 and 2 and 1. Come back to center with those legs. Now, I'm going to take my hands out from behind my head and we're going to go into our single leg stretch. So I'm going to bring one knee in toward the chest and I'm going to extend the other leg out long. You have the option of keeping head, neck, and shoulders down or lifting here. So I'm going to keep my head, neck, and shoulders up, and if your neck starts to strain, you're going to lower them back down. So bringing alternating knee in toward the chest, breathing out as you do so. Inhale to lengthen the leg, exhale to bring the knee in. And as we bring knee in, of course, that belly button contracts down toward the spine. Tightening the core. You've got this. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now for a little challenge, we're going to extend the leg up long. If it's too much with legs straight, bend it. You can take a hold behind your thigh or your calf. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to stretch, pulse, pulse the leg toward the chest, and switch. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Nice. Again, if it's too much with head, neck, and shoulders lifted, lower it down to the mat. If your head, neck, and shoulders are lifted, you don't want to be looking up at the ceiling. That will strain your neck. You want to be looking at your thighs. Head is resting on top of your shoulders. You've got a little bit of space between your chin and your chest. Good work. Point and lengthen through the legs. Enjoy the stretch in the back of the legs. We're stretching the legs and working the core. Try to keep those shoulders down away from the ears. Nice work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Are you ready? We're going to go into 10 scissor kicks. Let go of your leg. Arms by your side for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. Both knees in. Rock from side to side, stretching out your lower back. Nice work. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Whew. Okay. From here, we're going to get into our obliques. So I'd like you to take hands behind your head again. And this time, we're extending that right leg out once again. And we're going to inhale to prepare and exhale, elbow to knee. Extend, elbow and knee touch. So again, keeping that left side really stable and stationary. Lower back presses into the mat. As we cinch in the waistline, bringing that elbow toward that knee. Head rests heavy in the hands, focusing on those right obliques. Good. If you want to step it up, come in with a straight leg. So eliminate that bend. But if you're doing this variation, make sure that your left hip isn't lifting up off the mat, your left bum cheek. Good. And there's no way I could get my elbow to touch my knee with this straight leg variation. So just focusing on that, rotating around the rib cage, the shortening of the distance between the bottom of the rib cage and the hip bone, feeling it in those obliques. You can do it. We've got 4, 3, last 2, and final 1. Lower down. Amazing. Opposite side. I'm going to start off with that knee bent. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, cross it over. Straighten left leg and cross over. Elbow and knee tap. Good. We're not pulling head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. We're using the oblique strength and the upper ab strength to get that lift. Good. You can do it. I'm going to switch to the straight leg now. Keep the leg bent if this variation is just too much. Good. Pointing through the toes, lifting that right shoulder blade up off the mat to get deep into those obliques. These are challenging. Stick with it. Good work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Amazing work. Now from here, we're going to really make sure we target those obliques by going for some little reaches from side to side. So I'd like you to take your hands by your side, palms facing in toward your thighs. Legs are hip distance apart. From here, we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to peel up into a crunch position. Head rests on top of the shoulders. Now we're going to reach for one side, reach for the other. Reach, reach. Keep that lower back pressing into the mat as you reach from side to side. Good. Keep it up. Keep that head resting on top of the shoulders. Abs are contracted. Lower back is pressing into the mat. Lower body is stationary, so we're not letting our knees sway from side to side. We're focusing this work in the obliques. Good. I know it's tough. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7. Reach a bit further. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to center, lower down. Roll over onto your stomach. Take your hands on either side of your shoulders, coming up into a cobra, lengthening through the spine, or all the way up into a full abdominal stretch. Keep those shoulders down away from the ears. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're gonna lower down and we're gonna give those abs a little bit of a rest for a while we focus on the lower body. So I'd like you to roll over onto your side. We're going to target our inner and outer thighs as well as our gluteus medius muscles here. So get nice and long. Stack the hips, knees, and ankles. Lift the legs up and hinge from the hip. So bring the legs forward so you're in a pike. Hand is on your head, or head is on your hand, or your outstretched arm. I'm going to start off with some leg lifts. Really simple. Lifting, I heard a pop in the hip. And lower, sometimes that happens the first couple movements when you're working a new joint. Good, so start off slow. Mobilize that area of the body. Lifting and lowering, lubricating the joint, the hip joint as you do so. Good work. Lift, get a lot of length. Don't worry about how high your leg comes up. If it doesn't come up as high as mine, that's perfectly fine. We're focusing on length here. I've got my hand down on the mat for support and stability, and my abs engaged for that same reason. So we don't want to be rocking around in the torso. And if you are rocking around in the torso, just slow this movement down. And as I said, don't come up quite as high. Focus on control and stability. Good work. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1, lower down. Good, now we're going to sweep the leg forward, bend, and stretch the leg back. I'm actually gonna come up a little bit further, and we're gonna take this just right from the beginning. So let's make sure the hips are stacked. The leg comes up, so it's about a few inches above the other leg. We're gonna come forward, bend at the knee, sweep the leg back, and stretch. Come forward, bend at the knee, sweep the leg back and stretch. So we want the leg at about hip height, and we don't want to lift the leg at all. So we're coming forward, bending, extending out behind. Sweep the leg forward, bend at the knee, shift to the back and stretch, keeping that leg at the same height throughout the entire range of movement. So we're going forwards and backwards. Forwards, bend, shift, and stretch. Forward, bend, shift, and stretch. Good work. Find that stability. Lengthen and stretch. Push the leg back and stretch it out behind you. Nicely done. Last one. Shift and stretch. Bring leg so it's parallel with the lower leg. And from here, we're going to flex the feet, pulling the toes back toward the shins. Now we're going to lift that top leg and lower. Lift and lower. Notice I'm not lowering it all the way down. I'm pausing a couple inches above that lower leg and then lifting it back up. So we want to keep our hips stacked here. That top hip stacked right on top of that lower hip. Good. Abs in, spine long, neck relaxed. Working into that side booty and those thighs as we lift that top leg. Good. Lengthening out through that heel. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to pause at about hip height and we're going to go into some pulses here. So pulse that top leg. Lengthen through that heel. Breathe into it. Keeping those hips stacked. Don't let that top hip roll back. Keep pulsing. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lower the leg down. Amazing work. Now we can point our toes again. We're going to take the leg up to as high as you can go with stability without letting that top hip roll back. And we're going to start drawing some circles. Small little circles. Getting deep into those hips and that gluteus medius. Good. Circling for 3, 2, and 1. Now, if you're losing stability, you can also bend that lower leg. We're going to switch direction with those circles. Circling in the opposite direction. Lengthening out through that big toe for 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Whew. Okay. From here, we're going to make a bridge with that top leg. And from here, we're going to focus on the lower leg, the inner thighs. So we're going to lift that leg up off the floor. Make sure that that inner thigh is facing up toward the ceiling. We're going to lift and lower with a pointed toe. Lift and lower. I want you to really switch your attention onto those inner thighs now. Squeezing in and contracting that inner thigh as you lift and lower. Now notice I'm just hovering my foot above the mat before lifting that leg right back up. So it's never totally resting. I'm keeping those inner thigh muscles switched on the entire time. If that's too much, you can come down, rest, lift. Come down, rest, lift. Okay, working within your own level of strength, working with your own level of strength. As we focus on those inner thighs. Good. And if this is uncomfortable with the leg in the front, you have the option as well of putting it in the back. For 2 and for 1, nice work. I'm going to put my foot back in the front because that's much more comfortable for me. Now we're going to flex the foot and turn the toes down toward the mat as much as possible. Same thing again. Ooh, this is always the tougher variation of this move for me. I can really feel those inner thighs working. Keep those toes turned down toward the mat if you can so that you're leading up with your heel. We've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, I need to lower my leg down. That was tough. Okay, we're going to finish off with some circles. So lift the leg and point through the toe. We're going to circle forward, small circles. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Using that inner thigh to lift the leg. 9 and 10. Okay, lower down for a moment. Prepare yourself. Now I'm going to circle backwards for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down. Whew, those were tough. Okay, stretch your legs out long and use your hands to help you switch sides. So we're going to come down onto the side body, setting ourselves up comfortably on the hand or the outstretched arm. We're stacking those hips, knees, and ankles, lifting and piking. From here, we're going into our pointed toe leg lifts on this side, mobilizing the hip, stretching the leg, and finding that stability in the torso by contracting the core and working with the breath. Inhale, and as we exhale, we plug belly in toward the spine. I find it really helps to contract all the muscles in the lower leg as well, really important so that you're not sort of rocking around. You have a nice stable anchor in that lower leg. Good. Lift and lower. Keep that neck nice and long. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. You've got this. Lifting up and lowering down. Let's do 3 more. 2 and 3. Good work. Okay, making sure those hips are stacked. So one on top of the other. We're going to lift the top leg up to hip height. We're sweeping it forward, keeping it at that height, bending at the knee, shifting back and stretching. Come forward, bend at the knee, shift the leg back. I'm going to need more space behind me, and stretch. That's better. Come forward, bend, shift back, maintain that level of the leg, that height, I shouldn't say level, the height of the leg. So we're just coming forward and backward. We're not lifting that leg high in the back. Good. Sweep forward, stretch, bend, and bring it back. Stretch, lengthen, and sweep forward. Bend, stretch, lengthen, and sweep forward. Really focusing on core engagement here. Again, so that that torso isn't kind of pulling back with you or rolling forward when you bring the leg forward. Good work. 2 more. Stretch back. And last 1, and lengthen. Good work. Now, I'm going to bring my feet together. I'm going to ensure that the hips are stacked, and we're going to lift that top leg up, lift and lower, keeping it perfectly parallel with the bottom leg. Feet are flexed. Toes pulled back toward those shins as we lift and lower that leg. Never lowering it all the way down, keeping the muscles engaged, working into the side booty area, focusing on those thighs and glutes and deep stabilizing hip muscles. A great lower body workout. Pull belly to spine. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it at about hip height and pulse. Little controlled pulses. Hips are stacked. Good. Lengthening out through the heel, abs engaged. Keep pulsing. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lower it down. Amazing work. Now we're going to come up for those little circles. Point the toes, lift the leg, stabilize yourself, and if that means bending the lower leg, that's fine. Little circles in the air. I'm circling forward to begin with. 3, 2, 1, and hold. Reverse direction with those circles. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Good work. Okay, now forming that bridge either in front of or behind the leg, getting that top leg right out of the way, lifting that lower leg with a pointed toe, and flexing, contracting the inner thigh muscle to lift and lower that leg. Lengthening out through the toe, contracting those thighs to get that lift. Good work. It's a great idea to specifically target those inner thighs because they don't often get specifically targeted. So this is your time to work those muscles. Good. Again, focus on keeping the neck long, the shoulders relaxed. Quite often have a tendency to let those shoulders hunch up by the ears when we're working the lower body. So we're aiming to resist that. Good, keep it up. We've got 5, 4, 3, lift a bit higher for 2, and final 1, lower it down. Inner thighs are already on fire. I think it's been a while since I've done mine because this feels tough. Okay, we're going to point the toes down toward the floor, lengthen through the heel, and then continue with that movement, this time leading up with the heel. Breathe through it. Focusing on those inner thighs, doing the work, keeping them contracted the entire time. Good. We've got 7, 6, lift a bit higher, 5, 4, squeeze the inner thigh, 3, 2, and 1, hold, and then lower down. Good work. Okay, we've got our circles to finish off with, and then we're gonna get a really nice inner thigh stretch in. So lift the leg, point the toes. We're gonna circle forwards. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Burning. Okay, lower down. My leg is shaking. Okay, now I'm going to circle backwards for 10, 9, 8, 7. Get that leg up there. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Bring your legs together. Use your hands to help you come up to a seated position. Now, I would like you to bring your feet together. Sit up nice and tall. And this might be enough for you right here, just even having the feet together. You can already feel this stretch in the inner thighs. But if you'd like to step it up a little bit, you can just hinge from the hips and just sort of lean over the legs and lean over the feet and sort of let your knees soften down to the mat. You can also apply a little bit of pressure by just placing your hands, but that even feels a little too intense for me right now. I'm just going to gently stretch out the inner thighs. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good work. Going to lean a little bit more deeply now that that area is starting to relax. Right, lift up. And now we're going to get into position to work our glutes, our gluteus maximus muscles. So coming to the top of the mat, I'm going to extend one leg out long behind me, and I want my wrists below my shoulders and my knee below my hips. I'm squaring my hips with the mat so both hips are facing down toward the floor. From here, we're going to just go into some simple leg lifts to begin with. We started off with these, but now we're going to really focus on connecting with those glutes. So this is my left side. So I'm really connecting with the left glute, squeezing my bum at the top of every lift. So really point and lengthen through your toes, squeeze your bum, and then tap toe down to the mat. Squeeze and lower. Your legs should be perfectly straight here. Shoulders are nice and broad. Belly is plugged in toward the spine. That will protect your low back, so you don't want to be swinging the leg up or overarching in the low back. Focusing this work in those left glutes. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Now I'm going to bring the left knee in and extend the left leg out long. Knee in, extend, knee in, extend. Bring the knee in and extend the leg out long. Keeping those hips square with the mat, keeping those shoulders nice and broad. Gaze is down on the floor. Notice I'm not rushing. I'm bringing the knee in, fully extending the leg, and then bringing it back in. As I extend the leg, I'm focusing on squeezing the glutes, squeezing the thighs. Good work. Keep everything nice and tight and controlled. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm going to walk my hands out a little bit further in front. Extend and lengthen through the toes. Lift the leg an inch higher, and I'm just going to pulse here. Little controlled pulses. Lifting that left heel up toward the ceiling. Squeezing those left glutes. Working those left hamstrings. Keep pulsing it up. You've got this. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lift an inch higher, lengthen through the spine, and then lower down. Amazing work. Now bring your hands back under your shoulders. I'd like you to lower your left forearm down to the mat, covering your right hand with your left fingertips. We're now going to switch over to the right side, or your opposite side, opposite to what you just worked. And I'm going to take that right leg out on a diagonal. Now from here, lower and lift. So we're working that right side now, lowering and lifting the leg, cinching the belly in toward the spine. Shoulders are down away from the ears, neck is nice and long. Lifting and lowering. Good. Switching the focus onto the right glutes now, the right thighs. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here. Knee comes in toward the elbow and straighten out long. Knee comes in and straighten it out. Good. Working into the waistline a little bit here too. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth as we extend that leg out on a diagonal. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up for 10 little pulses. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lift an inch higher and bring it down. Woo. Okay, take the knees nice and wide. Push back. Stretching and lengthening through those arms. Stretching and lengthening through the tailbone. Regulate the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice work. Let's come up and do the other side. So we're in our all fours position. And from here, I'm extending my right leg out long. Wrists are below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Lifting and lowering. Just gonna make an adjustment. Keep going. Good work. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Squeeze the bum. Getting that lift. Focusing the mind on the right glutes, doing the work here. Good. Keeping those hips square with the mat. Spine is nice and long. Abs are engaged, protecting the low back. Gaze is down on the mat. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee in and extend the leg. Bring it in, full extension. Bring it in, squeeze the bum, lengthen out through that big toe as you extend. Don't rush it. Make the movement count by contracting all the muscles throughout the range of movement. In and out. Bring it in, extend it out. You're doing so well. We're nearing the end. Just stick with it. In and out. We've got 5, 4, 3, squeeze that bum, 2, and 1. Keep the leg extended. Stretch the arms out. Extend and lengthen through the spine. Lift that leg high and pulse that heel up toward the ceiling. Pulse, 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 pulse. Nice work. Plug belly in. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift an inch higher and lower down. Amazing work. Now, I'd like you to place your right forearm down on the mat and extend your left leg out long in a diagonal. Stretch and lengthen through the neck and go into those leg lifts on the left side. Abs are engaged here, spine is nice and long, and we're working into our gluteus medius on that left side. Ooh, I'm shaking here. Ready for a cool down and stretch. We're nearly there. Good, keep it up. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring knee in, extend leg out on a diagonal, so not straight behind you. Maintain that diagonal as you extend. Keep those shoulders down away from the ears. Cinch in your belly to work your waistline at the same time here. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold and pulse. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lift a bit higher. Hold, hold, hold. And relax it down. Amazing work. Now I'd like you to step both feet back into a plank and then fold your right leg under your body, coming into pigeon pose. Time to stretch and cool it down. You did it. Let's fold over the lower body if that feels comfortable. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Regulating that breath, drawing nice, slow inhales and breathing out through pursed lips to control the exhale. For 3, and 2, and 1. Use your hands to help you. Come up, step back into your plank, and then fold that left leg under the body. If it feels good, you can fold over the lower body, fold over the leg. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Sinking into those tight areas in the glutes and the hips. Nicely done. And now we're going to lift up and come down onto our backs to get in a nice deep glute stretch. So I'm going to cross my right leg over my left, interlace the hands, take them behind the left thigh, and just hug that left knee in toward the chest. Lengthening out through the tailbone here, connecting the lower back with the mat so you feel this stretch in the lower back as well as in the hips and the glutes. Nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, hug that knee in a little bit closer toward the chest, deepening the stretch for 3, and 2, and 1. Lower down, switch the crossing of your legs, left over right, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh, and just hug it in. Pressing low back, pressing tailbone down onto the mat. Hug it in a little bit more, deepening the stretch, feeling it in those glutes for 3, and 2, and 1. Bring your feet down to the floor. Use your hands to help you to lift up We're gonna lift the arms up, straighten the legs, and fold over the lower body, coming into a back body stretch. Take a hold of your calves, your ankles, or your feet if you can reach them. Breathing deeply into the back of the rib cage, and as you exhale, fold a little bit more deeply over the body. Breathing in through the nose as we stretch the backs of the legs and we stretch the spine and into those shoulders. Drop the crown of your head. Feel the stretch in your neck. For 3 and 2 and 1, roll up to a seated position. You can turn and face me. We're going to lift our shoulders up by our ears. Inhale, and exhale, roll them down and back. Let's take 3 more. Melting away tension as we lift shoulders and relax them down and back. 2 more. Melting shoulder blades down, opening through the chest. Last one. And we are done. Thank you so much for joining me for this full-length Pilates class. I hope you enjoyed the routine. I hope you feel strong and well stretched, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. See you next time.